Hip, stretching and strengthening. There are certain activities in a workplace that may contribute to developing a sore hip. These could include repetitive activities at work, lifting or carrying for long periods of time, or operating machine tools. The nature of these activities can, if not addressed, lead to the gradual build-up of tension and stiffness in the hip. These exercises have been designed by our team of chartered physiotherapists to assist in preventing the onset of tension and stiffness or to ease any pain if it occurs. Bending the hip towards you. This is a great general exercise for the hip, which will maintain the movement in the joint whilst also stretching the muscles around the back of the hip joint. Lie on your back with your legs straight and your back in a slightly arched position. Lift one leg towards your chest, bending at the knee, and hold it there at the end of the movement or until a gentle stretch is felt. Hold the stretch for 5 seconds and repeat 5 times. Then repeat on the other hip. Please remember to do this exercise slowly and stop if you feel any pinching in the front of the hip. If you do this exercise just twice per day, you will really assist in preventing the gradual build-up of stiffness and tightness in the hip and the surrounding muscles. Stretching the front of the hip. Again, this is a great general exercise for the hip, which will help to maintain the movement in the joint whilst also stretching the muscle in the front of the hip. When you sit regularly or perform repetitive activities such as walking or running, the ligaments and muscles at the front of the hip can get tight, which can lead to pain and stiffness in the front of the hip. This simple exercise stretches the ligaments and muscles in the front of the hip and also helps to maintain the movement in the hip joint. Stand in front of a chair and place one foot on the chair. Bring your weight forward as you extend the hip of the standing leg as far as you can. Hold the stretch for 5 seconds, return to the start position, and repeat 5 times. Once you have done this, repeat on the other hip. Please remember to keep the back upright whilst performing this exercise. If you do this exercise just twice per day, you will really assist in preventing the gradual build-up of stiffness and tightness in the front of the hip. Stretching the inside of the thigh. This simple exercise will stretch the tissue around the inside of the hip and thigh and maintain the movement in this area. Although this may seem like just a hip exercise, some of the muscles attach on the inside of the knee, so you may feel a stretch here as well. Standing with a wide stance, lean towards one side, creating a straight leg on the opposite side. You should feel a stretch along the inside of the leg. Hold the stretch for 5 seconds, return to the start position, and repeat 5 times. Once you have done this, repeat on the other hip. Please remember to keep the back upright whilst performing this exercise. If you do this exercise just twice per day, you will really assist in preventing the gradual build-up of stiffness and tightness on the inside of the hip. Hamstring stretch. The hamstring is the large muscle at the back of the thigh. It actually attaches to your pelvis and then below the knee at the top of the shin bone. This muscle group, comprising of 3 muscles, both moves and stabilises the hip and the knee. It is really important for this muscle from getting tight, both for the hip and for the knee. However, also for the lower back as this muscle attaches to the pelvis. When we sit for long periods of time or work in a manual environment, this muscle group can become stiff and tight. This simple stretching exercise will assist in maintaining the correct length of the muscle. While standing, place one foot on a small step or stool, and then whilst keeping your back straight, lean forwards until you feel a stretch in the back of the thigh. Hold the stretch for 5 seconds, return to the start position, and repeat 5 times. Once you have done this, repeat on the other side. Please remember to keep the back upright whilst performing this exercise. If you do this exercise just twice per day, you will really assist in preventing the gradual build-up of stiffness and tightness in this area. Strengthening the muscles on the outside of the hip. Maintaining the strength around the hip is very important, and people are often surprised to find that the strength around their hip may not be as good as they expected, and this exercise can really help to improve this. Lie on your side on a comfortable surface with both legs slightly bent at the knee. Place your upper hand over your pelvis to maintain its position during the exercise. Lift up the top leg, keeping the knee slightly bent and the pelvis stable. You may feel the muscles working on the outside of the hip. Return to the start position and repeat 5 times. Once you have done this, repeat on the other side. If you do this exercise once per day, you will really assist in maintaining the strength of the muscles on the outside of your hip. Strengthening the muscles on the inside of the hip. This simple exercise works on the muscles on the inside of the hip and helps to maintain the strength in this area. Lie on one side on a comfortable surface with the top knee bent to 90 degrees, with the foot flat on the floor and bottom leg straight out in front of the other. Support the head with the arm which is closest to the floor. Now, lift up the straight leg about 6 inches off the floor whilst keeping your pelvis stable. Return to the start position and repeat 5 times. Once you have done this, repeat on the other side. If you do this exercise once per day, you will really assist in maintaining the strength of the muscles on the inside of your hip. Strengthening wall squat. This exercise works more than one muscle group and is a great exercise for improving the general strength of the hip. Stand with your body leaning against the wall. Move your feet forward to get your legs at a 45-degree angle from the wall. Place a ball or a rolled up towel between your knees. Whilst you gently squeeze the ball or rolled up towel, slowly bend your knees to 45 degrees. Slowly return to the standing position and repeat 5 times. Start with doing 1 set of 5 and then build up gradually to 5 sets of 5. Please maintain a good posture with the lower back slightly arched and keep the knees stable at all times. Like all of the exercises, do this carefully and slowly, particularly if you are not used to doing this. Overall, remember to do these exercises slowly and carefully, and also remember that by maintaining the movement and strength in your hip, you will really help to reduce the likelihood of hip problems.